As we grow older, the way our body processes food, repairs tissue, and maintains muscle changes significantly. One of the most overlooked nutrients in this transition is protein. Many people think protein is only for athletes, bodybuilders, or young people trying to gain muscle. But science tells a very different story. For older adults, protein becomes one of the most crucial foundations of health, vitality, and independence. Without enough of it, the body begins to break down muscle tissue faster than it can rebuild, leading to weakness, slower metabolism, and higher risk of illness. With the right amount, however, older adults can preserve strength, improve energy, protect bone health, and even support brain function. The central question is, how much protein should older adults actually eat every day? The answer is not as simple as repeating the standard dietary guidelines. Because the needs of a 65-year-old are not the same as those of a 25-year-old. Research in nutrition and gerontology shows that protein requirements often rise with age, not fall, despite the fact that many older adults eat less than they did in their younger years. In fact, low protein intake is one of the hidden drivers of age-related muscle loss, known as sarcopenia, a condition that silently reduces mobility, increases the chance of falls, and lowers quality of life. To make matters worse, appetite tends to decline with age, and chewing or digestive issues can make protein-rich foods less appealing. The combination of higher need and lower intake creates a gap that can quickly erode health. That is why doctors, nutritionists, and fitness experts are now calling protein the longevity nutrient, because getting the right amount daily is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to extend healthy years of life. Modern research has moved beyond simple survival and now focuses on optimal aging. This concept emphasizes not just avoiding disease, but actively maintaining vitality, independence, and cognitive sharpness. Protein intake is at the heart of this mission. The evidence is striking. Older adults who consume sufficient protein maintain more muscle mass, recover better from illness, respond more effectively to physical therapy, and even experience improved immune function. By contrast, those who consistently fall short are more prone to frailty, hospitalization, and reduced lifespan. So in this video, we will explore the science behind how much protein older adults truly need, why the official recommendations may not be enough, and how to practically meet these needs through diet. We'll dive into the biological changes of aging, the impact of protein on muscles, bones, and metabolism, and the role of exercise in amplifying its benefits. By the end, you'll not only understand the numbers but also gain the motivation to apply them in daily life for yourself or your loved ones. Before we continue, if you find this content valuable, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video. Your support is what gives me the motivation to create more in-depth health and nutrition videos to serve the community. Together, we can build a healthier, stronger, and more informed generation of older adults who live not just longer, but better. Aging is not simply the passage of time. It is a biological process that alters how every cell in the body functions. One of the most visible and impactful changes is the gradual loss of muscle mass and strength, a condition known as sarcopenia. Beginning as early as the fourth decade of life, people can lose up to 3 to 5% of muscle mass per decade. By the time someone reaches their 70s or 80s, this decline accelerates, leaving many older adults physically weaker and less resilient. Muscle is not just about physical strength, it is also a metabolic organ, influencing how the body uses glucose, burns calories, and resists inflammation. When muscle shrinks, so does the body's ability to regulate these essential functions. Protein plays a direct role in this process. Muscles are made of protein structures that are constantly being broken down and rebuilt. In younger individuals, the balance between breakdown and rebuilding is relatively even. With aging, however, the body becomes less efficient at stimulating muscle protein synthesis, the biological process of creating new muscle tissue from dietary protein. Scientists call this anabolic resistance. In simple terms, the same meal that could trigger strong muscle repair in a 20-year-old only partially stimulates it in a 70-year-old. To overcome this resistance, Older adults require a higher intake of protein to achieve the same effect. Another critical factor is bone health. As people age, bones lose density, becoming more fragile and prone to fractures. While calcium and vitamin D are often highlighted in discussions about osteoporosis, protein is equally important. Adequate protein intake supports collagen formation, which provides structure for bones, and enhances the effectiveness of minerals in keeping bones strong. Studies show that older adults with higher protein consumption have lower rates of hip fractures and better overall skeletal health compared to those with low intake. The immune system also changes with age, a phenomenon known as immunosenescence. Older adults often experience slower wound healing, weaker defenses against infections, and reduced response to vaccines. Protein provides the amino acids necessary to build immune cells and antibodies. Without enough protein, the immune system becomes less capable of defending the body, leaving older adults vulnerable to common illnesses like the flu or pneumonia, which can be far more dangerous in later life. Metabolism shifts as well. Many older adults experience a decline in basal metabolic rate, meaning they burn fewer calories at rest. This reduction often leads to loss of appetite and reduced food intake, which compounds the challenge of meeting protein needs. At the same time, maintaining lean muscle mass through adequate protein is one of the most effective ways to keep metabolism higher, preventing excessive fat gain and helping the body manage blood sugar more effectively. This is particularly relevant for the growing number of older adults facing type 2 diabetes or metabolic syndrome. The brain, too, benefits from protein. Neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers of the brain, are built from amino acids found in protein. A steady intake helps maintain mood stability, cognitive performance, and even sleep quality. Some studies suggest that inadequate protein may contribute to faster cognitive decline and memory issues in older adults. In summary, aging affects nearly every system of the body, from muscle and bone to metabolism, immunity, and cognition. Protein becomes not just a nutrient, but a tool to fight back against these changes. The body's reduced efficiency in processing protein means that older adults must prioritize it more than ever before. It is not enough to follow the same dietary patterns of youth. The aging body demands a deliberate and mindful increase in protein intake to preserve vitality and independence. When it comes to protein recommendations, many people are surprised to learn that the official guidelines may actually underestimate what older adults require. The standard recommendation, known as the Recommended Dietary Allowance, RDA, suggests 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day for the general adult population. For a person weighing 70 kilograms, that equals just 56 grams of protein per day. While this amount is enough to prevent deficiency, modern research shows it is far from optimal for older adults who want to maintain muscle mass, strength, and overall health. A growing body of evidence suggests that older adults should aim for higher intake, typically in the range of 1.0 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight daily. For someone weighing 70 kilograms, this would mean 70 to 84 grams of protein each day. In certain situations, such as during recovery from illness, after surgery, or when engaged in regular resistance training, the requirement may be even higher, up to 1.5 grams per kilogram. This means that an older adult who is trying to rebuild lost muscle after hospitalization might benefit from 100 grams or more of protein per day, carefully distributed across meals. Why is this increase necessary? As explained earlier, the phenomenon of anabolic resistance means that older muscles respond less efficiently to protein. To overcome this, not only must total daily protein be higher, but it should also be spread evenly throughout the day. Research indicates that consuming at least 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal stimulates muscle protein synthesis more effectively than smaller, uneven amounts. For example, having a small breakfast with only 10 grams of protein and a large dinner with 50 grams is less effective than spreading 30 grams at breakfast, 30 grams at lunch, and 30 grams at dinner. Protein quality also matters. Not all proteins are created equal. High-quality protein sources contain all the essential amino acids the body cannot make on its own. Animal-based proteins such as fish, poultry, eggs, dairy, and lean red meat provide complete amino acid profiles and are highly digestible. Plant-based sources like beans, lentils, tofu, quinoa, and soy products are also valuable, but they may need to be combined to ensure a full spectrum of amino acids. For older adults who prefer a plant-based diet, special attention is required to reach both the total amount and the quality of protein necessary for optimal health. An additional factor to consider is safety. Some people worry that higher protein intake could damage the kidneys, especially in older age. However, research consistently shows that in healthy individuals, protein intakes up to 1.5 grams per kilogram do not harm kidney function. The concern is primarily for those with advanced chronic kidney disease, in which case protein intake should be carefully managed under medical supervision. For the majority of older adults, increasing protein is not only safe but beneficial. Another misconception is that older adults should eat less protein because they are less active. The reality is the opposite. The less active someone is, the more muscle mass they tend to lose, which makes protein even more essential. Coupling sufficient protein intake with regular physical activity, especially resistance or strength training, creates a powerful defense against sarcopenia. The synergy between exercise and protein cannot be overstated. Even light weight-bearing exercise combined with adequate protein has been shown to dramatically improve muscle mass and function in older populations. In practical terms, what does this mean? A 70-kilogram older adult aiming for 1.2 grams per kilogram would target about 84 grams of protein daily. That could look like 30 grams at breakfast, 25 grams at lunch, and 29 grams at dinner. This level of intake provides the body with a steady stream of amino acids to maximize repair, growth, and function throughout the day. With proper planning, this goal is achievable through whole foods. But supplementation with protein shakes or powders can be helpful when appetite or chewing ability is limited. Ultimately, the science is clear. The traditional 0.8 grams per kilogram guideline is a minimum, not an ideal. For older adults who want to age with strength, independence, and resilience, aiming higher, closer to 1.2 grams per kilogram, is both safe and highly effective. By understanding this shift, we can replace outdated thinking with evidence-based nutrition strategies that protect health well into advanced age. Understanding how much protein older adults need is one thing, but putting it into practice is another challenge. Appetite often decreases with age, chewing may become more difficult, and taste preferences can shift. Yet with thoughtful choices and simple strategies, reaching 80 to 100 grams of protein daily is not only possible but enjoyable. The key is to build each meal around a protein-rich food rather than treating it as an afterthought. Breakfast is often the meal with the lowest protein intake, which is unfortunate because starting the day with a solid dose of protein can boost energy, stabilize blood sugar, and kick-start muscle repair. Instead of relying on toast or cereal alone, older adults can include eggs, Greek yogurt, or cottage cheese. A 2-egg omelet with a handful of spinach and a sprinkle of cheese provides around 20 grams of protein. Adding a side of Greek yogurt with berries can bring the total closer to 30 grams. For those who prefer plant-based options, a tofu scramble or a smoothie with soy milk and plant-based protein powder can deliver an equally effective protein boost. Lunch should continue the pattern. A simple grilled chicken or fish fillet with vegetables and a portion of quinoa offers 25 to 30 grams of protein. Legume-based dishes, such as lentil soup or a chickpea salad paired with whole grains like brown rice, can achieve similar totals. The important point is balance. Pairing plant proteins with grains ensures all essential amino acids are present. For example, beans with rice or hummus with whole grain pita makes a complete protein source. Dinner often becomes the main protein meal of the day, but it should not be the only one. A portion of lean meat, fish, or legumes weighing about the size of the palm can contribute 25 to 35 grams of protein. Salmon not only provides high-quality protein but also valuable omega-3 fatty acids, which reduce inflammation and protect heart and brain health. Pairing it with a side of vegetables and a protein-rich grain like farro or amaranth makes for a nutrient-dense, satisfying meal. Snacks are an overlooked but powerful opportunity to add protein throughout the day. Instead of crackers or sweets, older adults can reach for string cheese, nuts, roasted chickpeas, or protein smoothies. Even a glass of milk provides 8 grams of protein, while a small serving of edamame offers about 17 grams per cup. These options can fill the gaps between meals, keeping total daily protein intake consistently high enough to overcome anabolic resistance. For those with limited appetite, smaller but more frequent meals may work better than 3 large ones. Protein powders can also be helpful tools. Whey protein, derived from dairy, is highly digestible and rich in leucine, the amino acid most effective at triggering muscle protein synthesis. Plant-based protein powders made from soy, pea, or rice can also be excellent, especially when blended together to cover all amino acids. These supplements are not meant to replace whole foods but to ensure that daily targets are met when appetite or convenience becomes an issue. Texture matters too. For older adults with dental challenges, softer protein options like scrambled eggs, smoothies, yogurt, or stewed lentils are easier to chew and digest than steak or raw vegetables. Hydration is equally important, since protein metabolism requires water, and dehydration is a common issue in older adults. Drinking sufficient fluids throughout the day supports both digestion and kidney health. The social aspect of eating should not be ignored. Sharing meals with family or friends often encourages higher intake, as does preparing food that is both nourishing and enjoyable. Spices, herbs, and varied cooking techniques can make protein-rich foods more appealing. Something as simple as marinating chicken in lemon and herbs or seasoning lentils with curry spices can transform a plain dish into something exciting. In practical terms, the goal is not perfection but consistency. A little protein at every meal, supplemented by smart snacks, adds up to the necessary total. For older adults who want to maintain independence and health, these choices are not just about numbers on a nutrition chart, they are about ensuring that every day is lived with more strength, energy, and resilience. When we put all the evidence together, it becomes clear that protein is not just a nutrient, it is one of the most powerful tools older adults can use to extend both lifespan and health span. Health span refers to the years of life lived in good health, free from chronic disease and disability. Adequate protein intake directly influences whether older adults remain strong, independent, and mentally sharp well into their later years. The most obvious long-term benefit is the preservation of muscle mass. Strong muscles are essential for basic daily activities such as walking, climbing stairs, carrying groceries, or simply getting up from a chair. Without enough protein, muscles weaken, making these tasks more difficult and increasing the risk of falls. Falls are not trivial for older adults. They're one of the leading causes of hospitalization and loss of independence. By ensuring daily protein intake is sufficient, older adults build a protective shield against this threat, maintaining mobility and freedom. Another critical advantage is bone health. Protein works in synergy with calcium and vitamin D to keep bones dense and resilient. Older adults who consume more protein tend to recover faster from fractures, and they are less likely to suffer severe bone loss in the first place. This is vital for quality of life, since a single hip fracture can dramatically alter the course of aging, often leading to long-term disability or even premature mortality. The immune system also reaps long-term rewards. As we age, the risk of infections grows, and recovery slows. Protein fuels the production of antibodies, white blood cells, and enzymes that defend the body. This means older adults who meet their protein needs not only reduce their vulnerability to illnesses but also recover more quickly when they do fall sick. In an era where health challenges like the flu or respiratory infections pose serious risks, strong immunity is priceless. Cognitive health should not be overlooked. Amino acids from protein are the building blocks of neurotransmitters, the chemicals that regulate mood, memory, and focus. Adequate protein intake supports brain function, reduces the likelihood of depression, and may even slow cognitive decline. This means protein is not only protecting the body, it is also protecting the mind, helping older adults stay engaged, purposeful, and connected to their loved ones. When combined with exercise, particularly resistance or strength training, The benefits of protein multiply. Even 2 or 3 sessions per week of simple resistance exercises, such as bodyweight squats, light weightlifting, or resistance band work, dramatically amplify the muscle-preserving effects of protein. Exercise creates the stimulus, and protein provides the raw materials. Together, they form the foundation of healthy aging. The long-term picture is one of empowerment. Adequate protein intake is not about chasing numbers on a chart, it is about living life with vitality. It is about being able to play with grandchildren, travel, enjoy hobbies, and remain independent instead of depending on caregivers. It is about protecting dignity and ensuring that aging does not mean weakness but instead becomes a stage of life lived with strength and grace. The message is simple but powerful. Older adults should not settle for the bare minimum when it comes to protein. Aiming for 1 to 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight each day, distributed evenly across meals, can transform the aging process. It is safe, effective, and supported by strong scientific evidence. By adopting this mindset and making protein a daily priority, older adults can add not just years to their life, but life to their years. So as we close this video, remember that protein is more than food, it is medicine for aging. Take this knowledge, share it with your loved ones, and apply it in your own life. Every meal is an opportunity to invest in your future strength and independence. If you found this video valuable, please like it, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel. Your support is what motivates me to keep creating content that empowers people with practical, science-based health insights. Together, we can build a stronger, healthier community where aging is not feared but embraced with confidence and vitality.